Look at other issues. The political rumble between the camp of Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State and his predecessor, Abdullahi Ganduje, is shifting to the court. The Kano State government has filed criminal charges against the immediate past governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, over alleged $413,000 and 1.38 billion naira bribery. Joined as co-defendants in the case are Ganduje's wife, Hafsat, and his son, Umar. The state said it has assembled 15 witnesses to testify against Alhaji Ganduje. Meanwhile, the Coalition for Truth and Justice has welcomed the proposed probe of Ganduje's tenure as Kano State Governor. But the convener of the coalition, Obinna Francis, urged Governor Yusuf to extend the probe to the administration of Rabiu Kwankwaso. He stressed that selective justice is a threat to society, saying that failure to investigate Kwankwaso and others will be seen as biased and political. Jide, Kano State.
Yes, I like the fact that non-governmental organization did not say don't probe Ganduje or did not say don't put Ganduje on trial. They didn't say that, because to say that would be hypocritical. But the point that they are making is, if you want to look at an era, if you want to fight corruption, you can do a tie back. But don't do a tie back that suggests that you want to leave out your godfather. Because even your godfather is a very recent political phenomenon. You get the point that I'm making. If you say, okay, let's look at how Kano had been bled over the years. During that period, there were many reports that were received about your own godfather. But because you don't want to embarrass him, you now decided to ensure that the whole probe is limited to the era of a different person. That would suggest that there's an attempt to protect that person and focus on a particular person that you don't like. So now they are saying, okay, good. Put him on trial. You can do your probe, because there's another probe. In fact, 2 different committees have been set up to probe Ganduje. Ganduje and Kwankwaso don't see eye to eye. I once predicted that they would never find themselves in the same party. And we saw what happened. One will live for the other. That's what usually happens. The same way that Shekarau and Kwankwaso cannot stay in the same party. One has to live for the other. It always happens. The same way that Atahiru Bafarawa would never be in the same party with Maga Takadawa Amako. There are some politicians like that. They would rather die than agree to be in the same party. We know that that's the way they are. So, but the point that these people are making is, Ganduje is not a saint. We agree. Neither is Kwankwaso a saint. There are stories about Kwankwaso that also need to be investigated. Why not move this probe? You set up 2 different committees to probe an individual's error. Why not move it back to include your own political godfather? Okay. That is the point. No, they are not saying, this attempt to put this person on trial is not good enough. No, that's not the point. I'm impressed by that. Whatever will make them look at the other people too will make the whole investigation and trial very wholesome. If I can actually add very to being wholesome, you know, that is what we want to see. We want a better Nigeria, and that's how it can happen. It can't happen by selective justice, selective probe, selective trial. No. Let's see that this is the thing. But Whether Abba Yusuf, the governor of Kano, will be able to muster that courage is a different, is a question whose answer is blowing in the wind.
Well, let's get to Emeka. What do you think?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a very difficult one. Because Kwankwaso is his godfather. Then Kwankwaso's son is a commissioner in his, I think, in his cabinet. You know, I think, is he not married?
And he's his in-law.
He's his in-law.
He's the governor's in-law.
So the thing is intricate. But I think also the governor should have, kept himself away from this cul-de-sac by pushing it to EFCC to handle. Because now he has found himself in a situation whereby it will be difficult to probe Ganduje without touching Kwankwaso. Because Ganduje's camp will make, they are going to hire lawyers now. Ganduje will hire lawyers. And of course, he won't hire training lawyers.
Big Sam.
He's going to hire big Sams. And when the case starts going, definitely they will draw Kwankwaso into it.
Yeah.
You can trust lawyers. They will drag him into it. And at the end of the day, you may just find out that you want to discontinue. The government will end up, filing motion for discontinuance of the suit. So suits that have such political undertones, you have to be very careful. Yes, the fight against corruption must be sustained. It must be fought, frontally. It must be fought because it's a serious problem. But you must also be mindful of, landmines on the way so that you don't end up blowing yourself up, and destroying what ought to be a noble endeavor,
All right. Joining us via Zoom for more discussion on this issue is the National President of Northern Patriots, Comrade Dominic Alancha. Thank you for joining us, Comrade. This issue in focus, what do you say about it? Governor Yusuf, going all out to probe, Ganduje, who is his predecessor, but then there is a call for him to actually extend that probe to his own godfather, Rabiu Kwanksaso.
Thank you very much for having me. I think that Jide and Emeka have really said it all. It's unfortunate that Governor Abba is progressing in error. Instead of him focusing on, bringing or advancing governance in Kano State, which is the promise he made to the good people of Kano State, he's out on a witch hunt and a political vendetta against his predecessor. So I think really, and you see, I don't think he's really aware that even on this matter that is taking Ganduje to court, there is a judicial pronouncement on it that he cannot, or the state cannot prosecute him. It is the responsibility of Federal High Court, to prosecute that, and that falls within the purview of EFCC, like Emeka rightly said. So for me, this case is dead on arrival, and you see why people are saying that if it's really transparent enough, he should have gone back to 2011, and then or even 1999 to probe his master, his godfather, political godfather, Rabiu Kwanksaso, because there are a lot of allegations against Rabiu Kwanksaso that borders on, corruption, misappropriation, and then, of state resources. For example, in 2011, there was a 5-kilometer contract, that was supposed to be awarded to the 44 local government that resources was appropriated for. And, today, the good people of Kano State cannot point to 1 kilometer road in any of those 44 local government, that those roads, kilometers of road, 5 kilometers of road were appropriated. A whole lot of issues. But you see, what we are saying, if you want to probe Ganduje, it should be done on the basis of transparency and accountability. This case, as I speak with you right now, is diverting the attention of the people from demanding for accountability and good governance in Kano State. Right now, as I speak with you, he has shot himself on the foot. If you recall, 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the beginning of his administration, without looking at the books, without calling, for inquiry into, certain actions, that even his godfather took with regards to the demolition that, he carried out in Kano State. He went ahead to approve the demolition of, shops, businesses, people's home and stuff like that. Today, as I speak with you, Kano people are they are living in penury. His electioneering campaign, this is 11 months, but he has nothing to point to the on ground that are his achievement in the past 11 months. Rather, he's busy going about, setting up committees, probe panels to probe his predecessors and all of that. I think there is need for him to sit down, come back, sit on the table and, properly define, his agenda in the next 3 years, that he's going to spend as the governor of Kano State. Because from all indication, it seems he's not well prepared. If you go to Kano, one of the popular sayings people are saying about him is that he's an errand boy to Kwankwaso and all of that. And what bothers me as a citizen and as a member of, as a Northerner and as a member of, as a Nigerian citizen is the fact that there was a recent report that came out on good governance, how states are contributing in, addressing the mirage of challenges that, the nation is facing. Kano is rating very, very poor. In fact, that report states that there is nothing to point on ground in Kano that shows that he's doing anything at all to alleviate the, the challenges, the good people of Kano State are going through educationally, developmentally, economically, security-wise, and all of that. So it's a thing of concern. I think, he doesn't really need this thing. But people are not saying that you shouldn't, until you prove him guilty, he's still an innocent person. But again, what bothers a lot of persons is why bringing his family into it. His wife has never been, she does not oversee any budget or stuff like that. Neither does his son. Does that. There is no official allocation of resources for the family to manage. Now you are bringing them in. Whereas in your administration, you are appointing the children of your godfathers and your relations, to cabinet position and other position in the state. So I think he's progressing in error. And for me, this case will not see the light of the day because it will not stand any judicial test anywhere.
All right, gentlemen, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue on this discussion. Please stay with us. So watching Journalists Hangout on Sunday, and we are talking about the issue ongoing in Kano State, where the governor, Abba Yusuf, has filed criminal charges against his predecessor, Abdullahi Ganduje. But there is a call for him to extend that probe to his godfather, Rabiu Kwanksaso. And, well, I have Jide and Emeka with me here in the studio, and Dominic Alancha is joining us via Zoom. All right, so Dominic, you are also supporting this call, and you've mentioned the fact that, it's unnecessary to bring, Mr. Ganduje's wife into this issue, considering that she's not a public official. So what do you think would happen if, say, tomorrow, Governor Yusuf backtracks and hands this matter over to the EFCC, for instance?
Well, for me, I think that would have been the right step because, like I told you, there is a judicial pronouncement that that the state cannot, prosecute, Gandujes on these same Trump-up charges. So the right thing for him to do is to back down on this and then allow the relevant agencies that have the capacity to prosecute this matter if there is any case at all of bribery, and all of that, that have been leveled up against him. So I think it is, if he really want to push on this matter, it is not the responsibility of the state judiciary or the attorney in the state to push on this by the court pronouncement. So he should obey court, pronouncement on this matter and then hands off from this state because, like I said, it will be dead on arrival. Because lawyers, like you said, he will hire his lawyers, they will bring their lawyers and they will argue it and you will see that it is going nowhere. If he truly and really want to serve the good people of Kano State, I think he should sit down and think of what are the needful for him to do and begin to do it. And governance for me should be the number one, priority or agenda on his table, as far as Kano State is concerned.
Jide has a question.
Many people see this as simply a continuation of the hatred and animosity between the two former governors, Ganduje and Kwankwaso. Do you see, because the court has set April 17 for Ganduje and his family to appear before it, do you see the APC national chairman appearing in court? You see that possibility?
Well, I don't know if I'm not his spokesperson. I'm not his spokesperson. So it's his personal decision to take whether to appear or not to appear. But as a law-abiding citizen, he knows what to do. It's either he goes to court, to stop, to get an injunction for him not to appear in court because the state do not have the capacity, and call on the state to respect the earlier judicial pronouncement on, on this same matter, that the Kano State do not have the power to prosecute him in court. It is only the EFCC, like you said, because this is, the allegation is borders around economic crimes and stuff like that. So strictly, it is not the responsibility of the state to prosecute him. And that's why some of us are saying it is death on arrival, and it is only, witch hunting. It's a vendetta, and like you said, it's a continuation of political rival between the godfather of, Abba Kabir and Gida and then Ganduje himself. So the governor should not turn himself as an error boy to one political godfather because he supported him. It is the Kano people that gave him the mandate, to be there. What is he doing for the Kano people? Instead of, advancing governance in Kano State, what is he doing about education? What is he doing about health? What is he doing about the development of the state? The dilapidated, infrastructure that are on ground there. There are a lot of places that are not accessible to Kano indigenes in terms of road network and stuff like that. What are the things he's doing? So instead of him continuing with this, hatred, this vendetta, this political witch hunt against his predecessor, I think he needs to sit down and rethink on what to do in order to put himself on the good book of Kano people. Because I can tell you, if there is an election today in Kano State, Abba Gida will not win the election because his emergence has ended up impoverishing the good people of Kano State. It has ended up taking them out of business as a result of some of the, policies he has introduced. The demolition, particularly that he demolished a lot of, houses, business centers, shops, plazas and all of that in Kano because they are, he claimed that they are government-owned property. I have it on good authority that even the very house that Abba Gida is occupying is a government property. That he, when he was a commissioner, he commandeered to himself. So these are some of the issues. If you want to fight corruption, it should be done on the basis of transparency. It should be done on the basis of accountability. go back to 2011 and then start the inquiry, bring out the issues.
Mr. Lancha, if you can hear me, these allegations you're making, we need to be able to prove them. You need to be able to substantiate that, okay, these things you're saying are true. You know, this is live television. Yeah. So just be mindful of that, you know.
Perhaps that building was legally acquired because people buy government property. Sometimes they even sell. They can even auction your car to you.
And that is why when he came on board, he ought to, because look, from the information we are getting about the building that he demolished that made a lot of Kano people to be out of business today, they were properly, you know, allocated. Because the former emir of Kano is the one that initiated that moves, you know, and then they allocate them. They allocate it to them. So, like you said, the house he is occupying may be properly and legally acquired. The same way other people's, you know, shops and houses that he demolished were properly and legally acquired. So, what I am saying is this: you see, he should concentrate on advancing governance in Kano State because this political crisis between him and his predecessors is just diversionary. It will not help him, and it will not allow him to concentrate and stay focused in advancing governance, you know, in Kano State.
Are you saying the people of Kano are not happy that he's about to put the former government on trial? The former governor on trial. Is that what you are saying?
I can. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, that the people of Kano are not happy with him. And in Kano, what they are saying, as I speak with you right now, is that he's running errand for him because everybody knows, Nigerians know, that this thing is just a continuation of the fight between Ganduje and Kwankwaso, and not the fight between Abba Gida, you know, and Ganduje, you know. So what they are saying is that, look, concentrate on delivering governance to us. Like I told you, 11 months into his administration, by May 29, he will be 1 year. What has he achieved in office? Nothing to point to as his achievement. It worries him. It bothers the people of Kano State, and they are not happy with him because of that.
Well, if you talk about the people of Kano being unhappy, and would have to differentiate, is it being unhappy with him based on his performance,
based on
or unhappy with him based
because he's
on
going after
this probe, you know, that is institution? And the governor has come out to say that this is no witch hunt. He's trying to ensure transparency.
Like I said, if you go to Kano today, they see Abba Gida as an errand boy to the former governor, Rabiu Kwanksaso. That is not why they voted for him. So why will Kwankwaso be using him to winch hunt Ganduje? They are not happy about that. That's number one. Number two, they are not also happy because his involvement in this fight has, you know, it did not allow him to concentrate on delivering governance to the people. His campaign promises, like I told you, is to advance education, advance health, the economy, and improve the security of the state as far as, you know, is the chief security officer of that state. Now, among these things that I mentioned, there is nothing to point out, you know, that Abba Gida has achieved in the last 1 year. If he has, his people, some of his people are listening, they should come out and tell the good people of Kano State and Nigeria. Like I told you, there was a report, you know, on governance index, and it put Kano on the low. It puts Kano on the low because they can't see anything that is pointing to his achievement, you know, in this 11 months that he has spent in office. So the people of Kano State, they are not happy with him. And like I said, organize an election today, Abba will not win. NNPP will not win.
Okay, Emeka has a question for you.
Yeah, if you're saying that, of course, it's within the purview of the EFCC, we know, to investigate these matters, you know. Now, while I expected you would have, you know, now put out a call on the EFCC, you know, to the EFCC to say that they should step up the probe of Kwankwaso and then ensure that Ganduje, both of them are probed, so that the people of Kano State will benefit, so that there will be a balanced, so that the record will be balanced. So what do What are you saying at this point then?
Well, like I told you earlier that there is a judicial pronouncement. Perhaps we are not even supposed to talk about this issue because the matter is in court, you know. So maybe EFCC are waiting for the outcome of, you know, the judgment from the court and stuff like that before they make a statement of stuff like that. I'm not a member of EFCC. All I am saying is that it is not within the purview. The states do not have the power based on judicial pronouncement, you know, and the laws of the land. They do not have the power to prosecute Ganduje on the same trumped-up charges that they have come up with.
All right. The National President of Northern Patriots, Comrade Dominic Alancha, thank you very much for joining us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening.
All right. Let's now get to another